This is Beach Talk Radio.
Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all ships at sea. This is your captain speaking, Mean Gene. Mean Gene. The following will be a test of the ship's whistle, the sonar alarm, the cable alarm, and the atomic attack alarm.
Hello, America, and welcome to the #1 radio station in all of Fort Myers Beach. Beach Talk Radio. Here are your hosts, Kim and Ed Ryan.
And a good evening, everybody, and welcome to Beach Talk Radio. We are broadcasting live from RITA'S here on Fort Myers Beach. Thank you very much. You okay now? Wait, no. You got to turn it down here. Is that better? You're not getting anything?
You and electronics.
No, dear. The thing
It's
is,
shorting out. You don't know anything.
the thing is that you just walk into the studio. You don't test anything yourself. Everything is my responsibility. And sometimes the pressure is too great. Sometimes you know, and then when something doesn't
Okay.
work, it's my
All
fault.
right. All right. Everybody that's crying for him at home, don't even bother. It is one cord that he plugs in.
Yeah.
And
All
it
right.
needed to be adjusted.
How about you plug it in for once? I mean, we've been using this
I will plug
machine.
it in, but
We've been using this machine for 5 years.
Oh,
It's
not
our
that machine.
second
You
machine.
already, yeah. You've
$600
already spent
machine.
another. You're such a spender
A
too.
couple
That's
of-
the other thing. Take care of your stuff. If
Listen,
you took care of the first one.
We have
What
a bit.
happened to the first one?
It's in the closet right now. The thing was that the power cord broke.
Why are you
Somehow
shaming it in the closet?
the power cord broke. So we've got a bit of breaking news that I need to share with everybody, and then we're going to talk
is
about.
that, what you told me earlier about that person leaving.
Listen. Let me get it out. We got a bit of breaking news. We got something to talk about. The signs, of course. The signs have it's been off the charts with the signs.
Yeah.
And then
Taking on a life of its own.
And then I have a quick story about the men's locker room at the gym today that I need to tell you about. But maybe we'll wait until
my story, my trail story eclipses that.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one. So the first bit of breaking news is that Allison Geeson handed in her resignation today at the town. And all of you know, Allison was kind of in charge.
Let people know that don't know.
She was in charge of the Mound House, and she did a lot of other things on the beach.
She's
And
a very nice person.
yes, and she took a job with the TDC, the Tourist Development Council. I had to think about that. So congratulations to Allison for her new job, and I think her last day will be the 24th. So congratulations.
Of March? Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's a bit of breaking news that
Yeah.
you heard here first on the #1 radio
Ow,
station
don't step on my
on
foot.
Fort Myers Beach. Now, this is going to be an hour show. It's not going to go longer than an hour because the band that plays after us, Gatlin, is like wildly popular. This
Very
husband and
nice.
wife
Yep,
duo that sings country music. What are you? You're looking through your date book there. What are you doing?
No, I'm looking through my notes from the thing that I went to on Tuesday.
Okay, she went to the Captains for Clean Water.
Their 7th
thingamajig.
anniversary. Yeah. It was
Yeah.
very good. And they had the debut of their this documentary that Noah, who works for Captains for Clean Water, he is such a sweet
Yeah.
kid, and he
He's
does
so
an
talented.
amazing. He is so talented on SB 2508, and I'm telling
Okay,
you
you
what.
say that like everybody in the
No,
audience is supposed
well,
to know
it
what
was-
SB 2508 is.
It was last year's. It was a bill that they tried to push through, and then DeSantis came down here on June 6th, and I was able to be sitting there, and he vetoed it, which
Yeah.
was great. So.
Okay, so our guest is waiting in the wings here, and it's getting crazily crowded. Everyone reserves a table for Gatlin. So let's call Dan in. We'll tell the sign story in between guests.
Come on in.
And I'll tell the locker room story, which really made me uncomfortable.
I'm probably gonna leave for that one.
Yeah. No, you need to hear it.
No.
There's one phrase that you're never going to hear me say in the locker room at the gym, and that was said today.
Okay.
Dan from Affinity Homes is here. Dan, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are y'all?
We appreciate
good.
you being a sponsor of the
Thank
show.
y'all very
We
much.
appreciate the work you're doing on Fort Myers Beach to help people with their homes.
Absolutely.
Tell us about Affinity Homes?
Okay. Well, we are a modular home manufacturer. We're based out
Keep
of
that close.
Yeah.
And so what does that mean, modular home? Like, is it like Lego things that you put together?
That's one way of putting it.
Okay.
That's one way.
Did you say Lego?
Yeah, like Legos.
She's reverting
like,
back to childhood.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No.
We are modular construction. It's not a type of a house. It's a method of construction.
Okay.
So basically what that is we build the house inside a controlled facility, out of the elements, basically on an assembly line. So everything's much more tight and cut right, and we don't have all of our materials sitting out in the rain. You've probably seen 1,000 building sites where they go deliver lumber or whatever. It sits out in the rain for 3 weeks. So we eliminate all that. And we can speed up the process a bunch. Because the way we have our facility set up, we build a house from start to finish in approximately 21, 22 working days.
So you're building it inside of your facility.
Let's talk about this
and
first
then
picture.
delivering it. How are you delivering that? Like, is it with a crane, on a truck? How is that?
They do come on what we call a carrier or a frame that a truck transports it down to the building site.
Okay.
And a crane will lift it off of that carrier and put it on the foundation.
Dan, this looks like a
Like
cottage.
a full-on house?
This looks like a nice little Fort Myers Beach cottage.
That doesn't look
exactly.
little. That looks nice.
So
Yeah.
tell us what this is.
This is one of our models it's called a finished cape. So as you'll see, the bottom would be for your parking. The next level will be all across that level will be living space. And basically that top third will be living space.
Yeah.
With the little vault on it.
How big is this house? How high up does it go?
2,100.
No, I said high. How
You
up does it
cheated.
go?
No, I didn't.
It's 2,100.
2,100 square feet.
Yes.
And we build all different sizes.
Did you hurt your hand when you hit me like
No,
that?
I didn't at all. It went right in.
We build all different sizes from 600 to 6,000. A little over 6,000 is the largest we built.
So
do you
the-
do tiny homes?
They're starting to get more and more
Yeah.
popular.
I want to
I
put an
will not
order
live in
in
one.
on that.
I will not live in
I'm
one.
What
gonna
does a
do
tiny
it.
home cost?
There's no telling. It ranges all over the place, but
Depends on what you
Yeah.
put in the tiny home.
yeah, we tried one. My wife and I tried one on a vacation we had. It
Yeah.
was 240 square foot.
Yeah.
Never again.
Wow.
That's like the size of the bathroom.
Never again.
240 square
We
feet.
had
What
four-
happened?
We
Holy
had 4
smokes.
bikes with us. Our camping gear. I mean,
4
our hiking.
bikes?
Yeah, we're bike freaks. But also our hiking gear and then our regular gear. So
Oh, look at
we
this.
folded out the sofa downstairs, and that's where our bike stayed,
I got to show this
and
picture.
our clothes.
This,
No, dear, I like to.
all right,
This
well,
is right in my
there,
wheelhouse.
We're here to
All
talk
right,
There you
about
go.
the home.
There you go.
What is that?
Now that's nice.
That's super nice.
Yeah, that's the inside of that house.
Kind of like a farmhouse cottage.
Yeah,
Dear.
that's
the whole nine.
Dear,
popular nowadays.
You
farmhouse
really
house.
let him explain his own house.
She's
You
getting
have
excited.
no idea what
I
it
am.
is.
I love it.
Go ahead, Dan.
But no, this is definitely got a farmhouse vibe to it, which is very popular nowadays.
Yep.
And mixing basically a farmhouse with a coastal,
Mm-hmm.
maybe Key Westish
Mhm.
type look to it. But we kind of lean towards a little bit of custom. And when I say that, it doesn't
Whoa.
necessarily have to be some expensive this or that. We can customize it because, a lot of the sites are restricted by setbacks, or they have to rebuild the exact same footprint that was there before.
Right.
So we can customize the house to fit
Yeah.
that.
Now, what do you got here? What is this? Is a
So who put? Do
This-
you do the pool too?
We don't. We partner with contractors or home builders, whatever you want to call them in the area. And we're basically like a subcontractor on steroids to them.
Got it.
So they tell us how to build the house, what to put in it, and then they orchestrate everything else. The foundation, like you see the pavers, the pool, lifts, elevators, whatever the case may be. So yeah, we don't actually do any of the work here.
Mhm.
We partner with, we're actually very picky about that. And especially after what's happened lately, there's a lot of people just trying to come in and just
Right.
unfortunately capitalize on the situation. So we vet builders and make sure that they're licensed, insured, and that's
very nice.
they're there for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Now, where's the warehouse where the stuff gets built?
We are in Lakeland, Georgia.
In Lakeland, Georgia.
which probably never heard of Lakeland, Georgia. But
Nope.
have you heard of
I've heard
Valdosta?
Yep, I've been through
We're right
Valdosta.
above Valdosta.
I had a bad experience in Perry, Georgia.
Yeah, that's a couple hours north.
Yeah.
We won't talk about that.
Nope.
What
Nope.
happened in Perry, Georgia?
Okay, we will.
You,
Wait, Dan.
you should never just drive very carefully.
What did
Georgia
happen in
is
Perry,
That's where the
serious
state
about.
where the state trooper
Yep.
post is.
Yeah. Oh, did you go too fast?
Yep.
Yeah. Did you get out of the ticket?
Nope.
How much did it cost you?
Don't ask.
Yeah. How fast were you going?
It's called a super speeder thing.
Ooh.
Yeah. What does that mean? And
It's not
For
good.
those of us-
Over 20 miles an hour.
for those of us who drive the speed limit, what does that mean?
It's fast.
Yeah. What were
I
you
was
driving?
stressed out. Never mind.
What
it was
were
a
you
long
stressed
time ago.
out about?
It was 100 years ago.
Yeah. So Dan, you build the houses in Valdosta, Georgia,
Right above Valdosta, yes.
and you drive them down to wherever you're delivering them.
Which now Valdosta, how far is Valdosta from the Florida Georgia line?
it's right above the
Yeah,
line.
it's right there. It's close. It's right close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right above the, Not too
And
far.
then you just trailer the pieces down and you,
Mhm.
you put them together.
the builder will actually put them together.
What do they put them together with?
Well, like I said, they'll have a crane that lifts the pieces off of the carrier and
Uh-huh.
onto the foundation. We'll have the house anywhere from, depending upon the design, anywhere from 70 to 90% complete. You know, we'll have the light fixtures in, the countertops in, plumbing fixtures, ceramic tile. So they're basically doing, like I said, the site work.
Yeah.
And then a lot of finish work. Really
So
for the house.
how have you delivered one to Fort Myers Beach yet?
Not Fort Myers Beach, Fort Myers.
Okay.
And
Where
Sanibel.
where can somebody go see a finished product that you have if they were thinking about maybe
Mhm.
giving you? Are we boring you?
No.
If they were thinking about getting one of your houses so they could see
Sure.
what you have delivered to Fort Myers or Sanibel.
The easiest thing to do, well, two things they can do. They can contact us, calling Affinity, or go on affinitybuildingsystems.com
Okay.
and fill out a contact form. And we can give them places to go see.
Gotcha.
Also, too, the second Saturday of each month, we have an open house
Nice.
where we invite everybody in.
Where?
We show them at our facility.
Well,
in
our
Georgia.
people can't go to Georgia though, so could they
I
watch
wanna
it?
go to
A lot of people will,
Valdosta.
though. For
Can they
something like
watch it
this.
virtually? And you
Yeah,
do-
we also have a virtual walkthrough on our website. We have a model house at our location,
nice.
and you can take a virtual tour of that.
I'm sorry. I had to step
I
away
wanna-
and get a drink of water because I had a tick on my throat. Did you say you have done some houses in Fort Myers? Not on the beach, but in Fort
Correct.
Myers. Okay.
Fort Myers and Sanibel, and that was before the storm,
Okay.
and they did wonderful. We actually have shot some footage of those.
Yeah.
And lost a few shingles. That's
So
it.
that house
No,
that,
yeah. So that house,
that we're looking at here,
that's got breakaway walls and all of that stuff at the
well,
bottom.
that depends upon what's the local codes, whether they have to have breakaway walls
Yeah.
or just vents or anything like that. So the builder he'll factor in all that and see what needs to be done as far as code or even customer preference.
yeah.
Mhm.
But
How much is that house? It's more than I can afford, but
Give us a
you don't know
ballpark
that- you don't
figure.
know that.
oh, I
Um,
do.
We're podcasters.
Hey,
Dan.
you're a very good podcaster.
Yeah, oh well, thank you.
Listen, we're not really podcasters because I stopped uploading the show onto Apple because we're Facebookers.
Yeah.
I mean, what the hell
know,
does
but
that mean?
Somebody was asking me about.
Was
I
somebody
haven't heard. About Spotify.
I stopped
Yeah, yeah,
uploading them to. It was just a waste of time. So
Well, is it under $1 million?
They'll average. Now, this is just pure guesstimate. Again, it depends upon
Right.
design. Probably 300 to 500 a square foot.
Okay.
Pure guesstimate.
I have no idea what that means. What is that house right
300
there?
to
What did that
5
house right
So
there
if it's
cost?
2,100 square feet, multiply that by 300 or 500.
Okay,
And that gets you.
I'm a mathematician.
Oh, well, you
Yeah,
don't
here
know.
we go.
The
Here
math,
come the insults.
Yeah,
Here
Open
come
up
the
a
the
can of worms.
math is not
Yeah.
good.
She sets herself up for the softball thing, and then she goes in
Mhm.
for the kill right there. That's what she does.
What's
so-
5 times 2?
12. What is that? What does that house cost right there? That's a beauty.
Probably 600-ish.
All right. So that's
That's not
not too
bad.
bad. No, that's a 3-story house with
Yeah.
breakaway walls on the beach. It's got to have breakaway walls on the
Yeah.
beach.
Now, well, again, it depends upon locally, but yeah,
I
you look,
think
it'll
that's
say,
more.
I'd say 600, and it could go up to
Right.
7, 8, 9, depending upon,
Yeah.
Yeah.
do you have Formica countertops or do you have quartz
Sure.
countertops?
Yeah. Well, she's
Things
a
like that.
Formica
Who?
person.
No. You can't. I mean, there are some things.
We
Formica.
got brand new countertops in our kitchen.
Yeah, and
from
busted them.
From what was the name of the place in Naples?
Rock Solid.
Rock
Do
Solid.
not use them.
And
Who picked them out?
And they started.
I picked
no,
them
they
out.
look great, but
They
they
look
started
great.
cracking.
They cracked. We can't get
And now
them to
there's
come
like
and
a
fix
giant.
it.
I mean, how do you
Cracked.
fix that? You can't
You
fix
can't
that.
fix it
You just
now.
have to replace the whole
You were
effing thing.
supposed to get them out there and have them epoxy
But they
it,
don't
but
answer
they
the
didn't
call.
answer. So
Once that's the thing
shame
is once
on them.
once people they make the
Yeah,
sale, they're
nope,
out of your hair.
that's it.
And that's
They
one
know.
That
thing
wouldn't
that
be you.
Right. That's one thing we're very ticky about is
You're very what
I get
about?
very ticky.
Picky.
That's the South Georgia.
Oh,
Did you say
ticky?
Very
ticky?
particular.
Oh, particular.
Yeah.
I got you.
Very ticky about.
Okay.
I get calls all day, every day of people saying, "Hey, I want to build your houses down that area," and I don't say yes. I want to vet these people. Like I said, make sure they're licensed, insured, preferably local. I don't want people coming in from who knows where.
Right.
Like I said, just to capitalize
on
on
a
the
bad
situation.
thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hope you get some business down there because that's a beautiful looking house, and it's not wildly expensive. I
No.
mean,
No. And the nice thing is too, we shorten the building process.
people like
tremendously.
to hear that
So,
because you're
People-
building it somewhere else.
yeah, and we're building all the pieces at one time so they can be assembled quicker. And, people have been through enough. They don't want to wait another 12, 16, 24 months.
Hey, does that house come with like all the appliances, or they got to get?
It can.
Okay.
This is very similar to, I guess you would say, similar to a site-built situation where, hey, what do you want?
Mm-hmm.
Do
You
you
get
want
to pick out your finishes,
Yeah, different
and your
countertops,
cabinets, and your
colors.
flooring, and all of
Absolutely.
that.
Absolutely.
Now, Dan, how did you hear about us? Like we didn't hear about you until you kind of connected. How'd you hear
we
about
partnered with a gentleman down here who's a local builder, of Mark Roundbush of Ideal Construction, and he's working on a bunch of houses down here.
us? Nice.
Great guy, very experienced builder. Like I said, he's local.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking one day, and he's like, you know what? To get the word out, he's like, people swear by Beach Talk Radio.
Wow.
I've never heard of it.
They're really swearing at us, but that's
Swearing
you
at
know,
me mostly.
Hey, the attention
Well, that's
is good,
pretty
whatever
cool.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we reached out, and even the moment we put the logo up on the website, we had literally the next day.
Yeah.
People calling.
I don't know if this is know
Wow.
if this is fortunately or unfortunately, but there are a lot of prospects on Fort Myers Beach right
Yeah.
now because of the damage that was
Yeah.
done by this friggin' hurricane.
It is,
so
yeah.
what
It's-
we want is we want to give people choices of builders that they can trust,
Mhm.
and so if they can see the model and they can feel like it's somebody they trust and they can get their house built quickly. And it doesn't leak the day after that. You turn the
Mhm.
keys over. That's
Yeah,
the key.
does a
That's the key.
warranty come? Like, so that includes the roof and the whole nine?
Yeah, there's going to be a warranty over the house in general, a warranty,
Okay.
structural warranty, and then you'll have different warranties of the pieces and parts.
On the components.
You know,
And
like
how long have you
siding
been in
and things
business, or how long has Affinity?
like that. We started at probably the worst time you could start
2020?
building.
COVID.
No, 09.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We owned a gym in 08.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was
Interesting
was
time.
fun.
right through the
You
thresher.
notice that when people the economy's going good, they'll have a gym membership and they won't go to the gym and they won't care because they think they're going to go. But when the economy goes in the shitter, they notice they have a gym
That's
membership
right.
and they're not going to go.
Yeah.
So they cancel it.
And they call as quick as they can to say, how do I
Yeah.
cancel
Yeah.
this?
How can I
Yeah.
get my money back?
Understand.
So but they can't.
So 2009. So
Yeah.
you-
Yeah.
company's been in
Well, you
business
roughed
for a
it.
while.
You roughed it through the tough times.
Yeah.
Then too.
Absolutely. And I think a big reason is there's a lot of other companies
Thank
out
you.
there that build modular homes, that build mobile homes,
right.
which is a whole different code, a
Yep.
whole, apples and oranges. And when you do that, the lines kind of get grayed maybe.
Mhm.
So, with this niche that we've had since day one, if we try to do, the mobile
Thank you,
homes
Rhonda.
or compete with the big boys that do that, we would have never made it. This, we found something we did well and we stayed
Yeah.
with it.
I'm sure you didn't know this, dear, because you didn't do your research. But Dan
Oh,
used to own
right.
a newspaper.
Yes.
I heard you guys talking
Yeah.
about that.
How crazy is that to
Mhm.
own a newspaper? Like we were talking about the sandpaper on Fort Myers
That's right.
Beach and how much people loved the sandpaper. And even though it was a weekly and sometimes the news might have seemed like it was old if something happened on Sunday or Monday, they just couldn't wait
Mhm.
for their weekly newspaper to come out because it was always about their
Right.
small community. And how was it for you to own a small town newspaper?
It was interesting. It really was. That's something that you get involved in it and you jump into the local scene, both
With
feet.
both feet,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, there's no other way around it.
Where was this? Where did you have your
Okay, here's
newspaper?
another geography probably
All right.
lesson that you probably never heard of. Alma, Georgia.
Alma, Georgia. You're all about Georgia.
I'm telling you, it's the blueberry capital of the world.
I didn't know that.
Those are my favorite. I'm
You
going
can
there.
never get a blueberry stain out of a white shirt, though. I mean, I'm telling you, it's impossible.
You've never eaten a blueberry in your life.
I used to put blueberries in my protein shakes.
Oh,
There you
that's
go.
That was delicious.
Frozen?
right
Did you
there.
do with frozen blueberries?
Yes, frozen
Yeah.
blueberries. Yes,
There you go.
Frozen blueberries, protein mix, and peanut butter
How
with
far
skim
is
milk.
that from Amicola?
Oh, that's up in North Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah. We're 4-ish hours from Atlanta.
Okay.
So that's beautiful country. But
So the newspaper
Mhm.
business was okay for you, was it?
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Did
it
you
was-
make money at it?
we did all right.
Yeah.
We did all right.
Like-
and we were actually towards the end, we were switching it over to digital, kind of, like y'all doing some Facebook and social media
Yeah.
aspects to it. So it was
The
interesting.
challenge, the biggest challenge that newspaper, in my opinion, and I don't know shit, that newspaper could never overcome was when you go to digital from a newspaper model, people expect it to be free,
Right.
and you can't make a living out of free.
Right.
And the newspaper, when I was growing up, I delivered the newspapers every single day, 200 newspapers a day, Newsday, and
Oh wow.
we would collect on Friday $30 a week from
Did you have
somebody.
those little paper things that
No,
you would
I
rip
was
off
as
just-
soon
to
as you
give
said
to
that, I
people?
pictured that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
It was
little
the-
things you
But
rip off to
it's the
give
greatest
when people
job in the
would pay.
world for a kid growing up is to deliver newspapers because you're working,
Mhm.
you're collecting
riding your
money,
bike.
and you're riding your bike, and you're getting exercise, and then eventually the people started delivering newspapers out of the car.
Yeah.
And they were tossing the paper out of the car. I was like, what the fuck is that? I
Yep.
mean, that's a kid's job. You're
That's right.
taking away a kid's job.
Mhm.
That should be a kid on his bicycle. People appreciate that.
Mhm.
Instead, you got some jackball.
There he was at 18, 19 years
I
old.
wasn't
riding his
18,
bike.
19. It was 17
It
and a
wasn't a
half.
bike, it was a motorcycle.
I'll never forget the story. I probably told this a million
Yeah,
times.
yeah.
I used to get on this shopping cart, like at the top of the apartment complex at a hill. And I would get on the shopping cart and just put my legs on the inside of it and just go as fast as I can down the
Nice.
shopping cart until one day the wheels wobbled and I was flipping over and in the
Oh,
road. It was a bloodbath, newspapers everywhere. And it was like, where's my news day? I'm in the freaking hospital.
Meanwhile, you're patching wounds
You know,
with the blood.
the
and
worst
paper.
part, well, maybe it wasn't the worst part. I think it was Saturday night, we would get all the inserts. Like the newspaper
Yeah,
would
because
come.
Sunday
The
is
Sunday
the big
paper
thing.
would be
Yeah,
so
yeah.
friggin' huge. You have to put every insert in the
Yeah.
paper one at a time.
Yep.
Like Wegmans and Shopco.
Now
and
it's
every-
like 500 pounds in your bag, in your white bag with
And
the
now-
orange strap.
Now I need my dad. Now I need my dad to drive me around to deliver the newspaper because every Sunday
It's
paper's got a
500
rubber band
pounds. Yeah.
around it.
Yeah,
Dad, I
we-
can't get these on my bike.
We took the lazy route. We had the printer put all the inserts in.
We had tied a one of those baskets. What do you-
Okay, dear.
no, what do you call those? Those. What is it? We have it underneath the chair in the front of our house right now.
The little milk crate.
The
thing.
milk crate.
Okay,
I would
yeah.
tie wire the milk crate to the front of the bicycle and try and hold the newspapers on
With the
Sunday
zip
like
ties.
this. You
Nice.
can't see where you're driving. I
Wow,
apologize
this
for.
went right off
No.
the rails.
But kids these days, I mean, get them a freaking job like that.
Yeah,
I mean, give the kids.
There's no newspapers
I know.
to
That's it. What are you
deliver.
gonna-
You
I'm
need to get 'em into
delivering the
construction.
Facebook. I'm delivering
What's
the
that?
we
newsletter.
need to get them into construction.
Yeah, there you go. Those Lego builders,
That's
they
right.
need to go right
That's
to
right.
you.
That
That's
was the
right.
good old days. So
Exactly. But yeah, we're
He's gonna try and bring
No,
it
no, no,
back
no,
around. Good
No.
luck,
Thank you.
sir. Good luck.
Reel that back.
Yeah, that's
No,
right.
we're happy to be here. And like I said,
Come on, Georgia Bulldog, reel it back.
There you
Reel
go.
it back. No.
I
dogs.
apologize. We should save stories like that for a special Sunday night show.
You know what? He can take it. You've been a very good sport. But go ahead.
I'm
Go
good,
ahead.
yeah.
Reel it back in.
I would never would have brought that up if you didn't own a newspaper. So you
Okay,
probably
let him
should have
reel
told
it
me
back
that.
in.
No, but yeah, like I said, we've teamed up with some local builders, and like I said, Mark Roundbush from Ideal, he's been great. And what I'm impressed with is the time that he takes with the homeowners or the home buyers. I mean, he goes and meets them and literally, I mean, just really, really listens to them. Not just, hey, this is what I can do, take it or
Right.
he listens. What do they want? What do they need? So we're really
have
happy
you
to be
looked
partnered
at
with
the
them.
50% rule, and have you gone down on Fort Myers Beach and said, I could put a house there? I mean, this is a real I mean, you get in touch with people down there so that they can see it, that you're an option?
Yeah, myself and Mark, we've ridden down there a few times, and I think it's as close as like 3 weeks after the storm.
Yeah.
And just, nature of the beast for me, that's what I look at. That's what runs through my head.
But the challenge is getting it.
Let me ask this. Have you been in other situations similar to this, or is this a whole new?
No, we've been through several.
Okay.
And it's different. This one's really different. For instance, up in Mexico Beach, with Michael,
there's a lot of comparisons they make. So yeah.
It's moving the process, to me, from what I've seen, is moving a lot faster down here.
Well, that's
no
good to
kidding.
know.
Yeah. And the reason I think, or a reason, is down here there's a lot more to pull from as far as workers or places for workers to stay. Up in Mexico Beach, there's nothing.
No kidding.
There's no place for them to stay. There's no place to pull labor from. So, I mean, it's well after a year from that storm, and down here you're all making a lot quicker progress, in my opinion.
Well, that's good.
It might not be quick enough, but
no, it's not going to be quick enough, right?
Compared to other places, they're moving quicker.
So I think there needs to be like an informational session where you maybe go to Diamond Head and all the builders, sitting around a table, and the residents can get in the room and start asking questions about, how what are you going to do? How are you going to build this? How are you going to meet the code? And how can I trust you? And all those. I think that would be a great thing.
Absolutely.
A great service
like
to the residents.
Expo.
An expo
and
where all the
actually,
builders get together.
Mark and I have been to one probably a few months ago. It was at one of the local schools over there. They had kind of like that. It was a little Q&A type where,
we don't have a school on the beach. So,
well, it might have been at one of the other schools.
Yeah. And that's what we talked about, that is, doing some sort of, seminar round table to say, hey, come here and ask away.
Right.
But I think that I think that'd be a really good idea.
I think we can organize some things. Maybe we can.
We'd love to help
organize
with that.
that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So how can people get in touch with you?
Okay, they can go to our website, which is Affinity Building Systems with an S on the end, affinitybuildingsystems.com, or our Facebook page, Affinity Building Systems. They can email us through the website. They can call us, and like I said, we'll kind of get an idea of what they're looking for and see how we can help them. We'll put them in touch with the builder, and that builder can better answer the more specific questions. And then, they can go look at their land and say, hey, yeah, we can do this, or no, you won't be able to do that. So they'll start out and get the ball rolling.
You work with the builders, and the builders are doing like the permits and all of that stuff on the ground, and then you're just putting the
we're basically
together.
a subcontractor to them. So they'll talk with the customer, and they'll kind of relay to us, okay, we need it done this way, this way, and this way.
Heidi, that's a good question. I do have all the information on that. I did watch the same town council meeting that I think you watched, so I will put more information out on that. If somebody wanted to call you right now, right this minute, what number?
912.
Somebody's going to type it in.
310. 0113.
0113. Dan, thanks so much for coming on.
My pleasure. Thanks you very much.
For putting up with my wife. She can be a really pain in the ass.
I know a lot of stuff about George. I think he was impressed.
There's a $100 bill in my wallet that wasn't there before. I don't know how that got there.
Wait, what?
What?
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you very much.
Dan from Affinity, please give him a call if you're looking.
I did not
Thank you,
pay him
Jacob.
off.
Thank you very much. All righty. Before we get to our next guest, well, I'm not really sure is here yet. And my story about the gym today and an update on the signs. The signs have really blown off the charts on Fort Myers Beach. I need to tell you about Jorge Barrera. Everybody knows Jorge. And we're so happy that he's a sponsor of the show. He's a friendly kind of guy. He's a caring kind of guy. You can check out his 5-star Zilla reviews and how his clients describe in detail their positive experience working with Jorge. Just Google Jorge Barrera. That's Barrera. You see him on the show. You see him at Wahoo Willie's. He shows up to support the show. He's everywhere. You see him on the signs. You see him on our website because we trust him. He trusts us. Everybody's trusting each other. He's donating 10% of his commission to the local Fort Myers Beach Hurricane Relief Organization. Over $27,000. A big round of applause at home, you drinkers. Give him a round of applause. I know you're watching. I know you're watching us. I want you to be clapping for Jorge. $27,000. That's more than I make in a year. And he's donating it. That's crazy shit. And he's still volunteering at 820 Buttonwood. Jorge Barrera, everybody. Thank you for being a sponsor of our show. I'm going to invite my wife back on the show. I don't know why she goes like off screen and she goes back on the screen. I apologize for blowing my nose and my yellow handkerchief. But I do need to tell you this creepy story from the gym. Now, today was freaking awesome. Like, I went and paid for the stage. I went down to, I think it was Fowler Street. Yeah, you got to go down to Fowler Street, to Tektronix. I paid for the stage for next Saturday. And it's going to be a sea of yellow next Saturday. I can't wait to see everybody at our Sunset Celebration with Stephen Clark and Coastal Cowboy, who we met here. And so I pay for the stage, and then I get to the gym in plenty of time. Like, I like to be at the gym on Friday at 1 o'clock, get a 2-hour workout in. And
meanwhile, I'm killing myself at my job. But anyways, go ahead.
And so I get to the gym. I get a nice 2-hour workout in. I'm riding the bike, and I get in the shower, take a shower. And
is this going to be inappropriate?
No, it's not going to be inappropriate. So you know how I am when in the men's locker room. It's like it's the creepiest place on the planet. So be in a men's locker room.
Why don't you just go home and take a shower?
Be around because we're close to here. I like to be here early so I can set up. So what?
Did you take a shower?
I did take a shower. You know, and I don't like to be around other naked men. Like, I don't like to be in the locker room.
You're getting close to being inappropriate. Go on.
And so
what happened?
I'm getting dressed in the corner, trying to get my shorts on and blah, blah, blah. And so these two guys, like...
Are you doing the towel wrap thing?
I did the towel wrap thing because I don't want seeing my arse. I don't want anyone seeing my buttocks. And so, I'm looking in the corner, and I hear these guys like 2 rows over. They're blocked by lockers, but I hear them. They're talking about football, and they're talking about somebody's get the Dolphins are getting this and that and the other thing, and they're going now for 5 minutes. They're talking about it. I'm putting my deodorant on. Now I'm almost dressed, and then the last thing I hear one of the guys say is to the other guys like, "We should catch up with each other in the sauna." And I was like, okay, that's one statement you're never going to hear me say in the men's locker room.
Well, you're never going into a sauna.
No, I'm not going into a group sauna, and I'm never going to say to another dude, we should catch up in the sauna. Like, I mean, can you imagine hearing that? We should catch up in the sauna. I
understand. Okay.
Why would you say that to another dude in the men's locker room?
You made this sound like there was some great story.
Yeah, it was like creep me out. It's like, okay, now
it's nothing like seeing a 6-foot rattlesnake.
Oh, all right. Okay, here comes the bigger story. You always got to outdo me with something. Go ahead and tell your story.
So on Thursdays, I always go for a walk
after work, late at night.
No, it's not that late.
Well, it's late for me. It's 5:30 p.m.
Out towards Alva. I love Hickey Creek Mitigation Park. Anyways, out there with my friend, we're walking, and I look to my left. Slowly, I see something out of the corner of my eye. I look to my left, and I see that, pattern.
I can't believe you didn't show me a picture. I could have popped a picture up so people could see it.
Well, we'll have to do that. I see the pattern that you in a heartbeat. It's a Eastern diamondback rattlesnake, and all I see is the middle of the body, and it's like the middle of it is like this. So my friend jumps on my shoulder, on my back. I'm like, hey, I got to get a picture of this. So I got some pictures.
When she jumped on your shoulder, did she say, we need to catch up in the
No,
sauna?
she was freaking out. And so, and I listen, so I went into the woods to look at it. That thing was no less than 6 feet long. And it was really, really fat. It was not rattling its rattle. It was
What
just
does that
moving.
mean? Does that mean anything that it's not
No.
rattling its
When
rattle?
it feels threatened, but that thing was so big.
How do you know that about snakes?
That's what rattlesnakes do. They start rattling their rattle, and then
I see.
next thing, whachoom, and they get you. So I kept my distance because they
Did
can
you hurt
jump.
your hand when you did that?
No. They can jump 2/3 of their body length. So 6
Really?
feet, that thing could probably
Everybody
go 4
knows
feet.
that. How dare you insult our audience?
So I got some pictures of it, and I showed it to Jason here tonight. He goes, "What is that? An alligator tail?" I said, "No, it was this big, huge Eastern diamondback rattlesnake," and I'm thrilled. I'm over the moon. I was so
when you
excited.
called your dad, what did he say about it?
He said he's been hiking forever and has not seen one. I've
Wow.
seen a pygmy rattlesnake, which pygmy's tiny, and then this thing was ginormous. So I think I'm really excited to go back and get a full measurement because I think it's going to be world record. I do.
I'm not even going to repeat that. What Thomas posted there. All right, let's get to our next guest. We got a big drywall giveaway coming up.
Yeah, I stayed for a picture.
And so Kelsey is here from the Rotary. I don't know what happened to Pastor Sean, but we thought Pastor Sean was coming. But Kelsey is here from the Rotary.
Trying to get it
we love the
here.
Rotary. Kelsey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Thanks for coming.
So tell us what the Rotary does. What's a Rotarian? Like what is that?
Sure. So Rotary clubs are clubs in your area of professionals that get together, have a good time, socialize, and also do good community service work in our area.
Now
we have a Rotarian in our family. Do you know who it is?
I have no idea.
Think out west. Who would be a Rotarian?
Your uncle.
Yep.
He's also a Mormon.
He's the president of the Rotary Club out there. It's a big thing out there.
And he's the president of the Mormons.
Yep. He's president of the Mormons.
Have you ever been to Utah, Kelsey?
I have never been to Utah.
It's amazing. You should go. It's a
I've always
beautiful,
wanted to
beautiful
go.
state. It's a beautiful state.
A lot of rattlesnakes.
Yeah.
No, that rattlesnake was here. You ding dong.
Ever been in a sauna? Oh, you don't need to answer.
No, I told you. I said I would run interference because she was nervous about coming
Don't
on
be
with
nervous.
you.
Now, what happened to Pastor Sean? He said he was showing up. What happened to him?
That's a great question. I don't know where Pastor Sean is.
Uh-oh. You got to ring the
I
bell
got the
for
only
him.
bell
Yeah.
tonight. You didn't ask one good question of our
I
first
asked
guest.
a lot, but he
Yeah.
just didn't,
Yeah. He didn't
He
acknowledge.
didn't acknowledge it.
So you guys have a second.
So is this the Fort Myers Beach or Fort Myers Rotary Club? What's your what area do you encompass?
Sure. So I'm actually the district governor nominee for our district. So
Wow.
we are everything from Marco Island all the way up to Sarasota. No, definitely not.
Wow.
What'd you
She's
do?
like the grand poobah of
I
the
know.
Rotarians. Like,
Definitely not.
do you have to
All right,
wear like one
governor.
of those big. What did you just do? Some kind of accent? What is wrong with you
If
tonight?
my friends are watching, they're gonna fall
Yeah.
apart. You know
I'm
what?
gonna use that.
Yeah.
Why do you talk
absolutely.
to your friends like that when you're?
Governor.
Did you,
You don't
say
get it. You
get
don't
off
get
me,
it.
governor? Once you jumped
don't
on you
get
about
it.
the rattlesnake?
You don't get it.
So
She gets
our
it.
district runs that entire scope, but my club is the Bonita Beach Sunset Club. But there are several clubs that are actually putting on these distributions. So it's a lot of clubs in the
Yeah.
district that are working together.
Now
So what is the distribution that you're doing? Let everybody. I mean,
So-
we've talked about it, but
The upcoming one is on Tuesday, and it is going to start at 10 a.m. We are distributing just under 6,000 sheets of drywall to Fort Myers Beach residents.
6,000 sheets of drywall.
just under.
Now you did this about a month ago.
Yes,
or maybe a
this
little
will be
longer.
our third distribution on Fort Myers Beach.
Oh, no kidding. I missed
and
the
we've
first one.
The first one was smaller. I have
Yeah.
to be honest.
That's all right.
The first one was smaller. We did about
Oh, sorry.
1,500 sheets the first time, and that was back in December.
Okay, so let's get some logistics out here because
Sure.
it's going to be a madhouse on
It is.
Tuesday. So how many sheets per person?
As of right now, we're going to do 25 sheets per household.
25 sheets. Okay. So
How much do you think that covers? Like, I don't know. How much square foot? How big is? Oh boy,
I mean, not enough. 25
Right.
sheets
Right.
per household is not enough. I
No.
mean, some of the houses that we were measuring were anywhere from 60 sheets to 150 sheets. I mean,
Wow.
it depends on the house, but At
But this
point,
is a
we
good
wanna
start.
help.
Yeah.
We want to help as many people as we can.
How do you assure that you're actually giving the drywall to people that need it and not contractors that are taking it off
Sure.
island?
So that's a very, very difficult thing to do. I'll be honest with you.
That was perfect. He thought you
led
were
me
going to
on.
say that's a very, very, very good
I
question.
almost
He
rang the
reached
bell.
in to get the
All right,
bell,
go
but
ahead, dear.
yes,
no,
very
it's
Let it go.
difficult.
Let it go.
I will tell you what we have done in the past. The first distribution, we actually pre-vetted every single home, which is maybe why you didn't hear about it.
I see.
We pre-vetted every single home. We went through,
Thank you,
we measured
Jacob.
ourselves and did that. The second distribution, what we did is we took down people's addresses. And the thing that we can't guarantee is that somebody who's a contractor is not going to come pick it up, but they have to provide their address that shows they're a Fort Myers Beach resident. So if they come back again, we'll know that they've already picked up. That's the only thing that we could really put in place.
Okay, so what time can they start lining up to get the drywall on Tuesday?
I would love
Probably
if they would
Monday
come
night.
at 10 a.m. on
Yeah.
Tuesday, but that's not realistic.
Right.
You know, to be honest, that would have to be a Pastor Sean question. I really don't know.
Gotcha.
But what I can tell you is that the last time there were people there really early, and it breaks my heart, but also is encouraging to see that because I want to help people. So I want them to come. But it's also very difficult, to be honest, to show up as a volunteer and see that there's been people there a long time because they obviously really need it.
No, I think that people are going to line up early. And how long do you think it's going to run? Because I'm guessing 8 hours.
That's probably a very good guess. The last distribution we did was around 2,200 sheets, and we got done by noon. So I would say, you know, that one went faster than I thought it was going to be. So I would say this one will probably take the full day.
And you're going to have
So now, are people going to be there loading it onto people's vehicles?
We
Is that
do
how it
have
works?
volunteers.
Okay.
We're always looking for volunteers. So if you guys, I know you guys do a great job with volunteers. If you know of more people
Well, I
that
don't
would like to
volunteer at all. I don't like
No,
to
that's
leave
a
the
good
house,
workout.
but-
I think lifting some
good.
drywall would be good. Now,
No.
do you also give them the nails
Well, how can people
for the
volunteer?
drywall?
How can people volunteer?
If people want to volunteer, our volunteers will show up around 8:30, between 8:30
Just show
and
up
9.
at the
Yep,
church.
and there's a volunteer parking lot that we'll have them park in,
Now,
and
does
we'll get
Pastor
them
Sean
trained.
do any work, or does he just stand there and supervise?
I'm
Because
going to say Pastor Sean does a lot of work.
yeah. Okay, good save.
So if people want to volunteer on that day, they can just show up and sign up.
They
or,
can show up
Yeah.
and sign up in the volunteer check-in.
Now, what happens if somebody shows up in a Pinto and they need drywall?
Okay,
How are you going to
I
get?
doubt
get
you
it-
even know what a Pinto is.
I have to be honest, I don't know
Yeah,
what it is.
no.
It's a vehicle from the 70s.
It's a tiny
Okay.
vehicle that.
So the last distribution we did, we had people show up. We did not advertise deliveries. However, we could make 2 deliveries at a time, which is a very, very small number.
Yeah.
yeah.
So what we told people is, listen, please come expecting to pick it up. We
Yeah.
will do everything we can if we could make a delivery, but not to expect it because it is very difficult. We do have some volunteers that are going to help us again, just like we did last time, but we're only going to take 2 in the queue at a time because we don't want to overpromise something.
Right.
Now,
So bring your ratchet straps, folks. You gotta be able to secure it down.
Yeah.
You don't even know what that is.
So you're also going to get some help from the sheriff's department this time.
Yes, that is a learning lesson from the last time. Yes, we do learn and we do grow from things. And yes, the sheriff's department is going to be working with us this time for a better flow of traffic and for better communication. That's one of the things I think I heard. I was the person walking out to all of the cars last time and taking people's names. And that was the one thing I heard is I wish we knew what was going on an hour ago. And I am going to do everything I can to make sure that that is better this time.
I think people should realize on Tuesday there's going to be a backup of traffic from Beach Baptist Church going south, right? That's
Yes.
the traffic is going to line
and
up
they're going to wrap
southwise.
it around in that neighborhood too. So it's kind of a little,
I see.
Yep.
So not so much on Estero Boulevard.
that's the
Oh,
goal.
that's great. That's great
Yeah.
that you guys have that coordination this time. So how many sheets did you say each person gets?
Just,
25.
25 sheets per
sheets.
household.
And you're going to get the nails and the mud and the
So
whole thing.
not this time.
Oh.
This time we don't have mud tape and screws with
Okay.
it. I have to be honest. So we've been trying to collect the funding, and we originally had this scheduled a little bit earlier,
Right.
and we pushed it back to get some more funding because I didn't want to just do another 2,000 sheets. To be honest,
Right.
I wanted to do a bigger amount, and so this time we do not have mud tape and screws. It's
Okay.
just the drywall, but we will have that provided, and we intend to do more distributions. We have some distributions in other cities that we're working on funding for right now, but I think this after this one, we may do something different than drywall next time for Fort Myers Beach.
Why did you decide this was something the Rotary wanted to do?
You know, there's a lot of reasons. Right after the storm, we did, immediate relief and provided food and water and support to people. And then we worked with an organization called Disaster Aid USA, and we worked at mucking and gutting out people's homes. And I met some really amazing people mucking and gutting homes.
Yeah.
And, I'll be honest with you, there's one couple and a couple of families right on this one street that just made a really big impact on me.
On
and
the beach.
I said, on the beach.
Which street was it?
Lagoon and Buccaneer.
Did they have a nice street sign at the end, hand painted street sign?
They did, yeah. It was very nice artwork. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Did you do that?
Yeah, no, not us.
It's a big story down there. Big story.
Well, it was
signs.
great. But, I will say these people made a really big impact on me, and seeing them work so hard and fight so hard to rebuild what they loved, I wanted to be a part of it as much as I could. And so I just basically started asking them, what do you need? Tell me what you need. I'm going to figure out how to go get it. And it might work, it might not, but we'll see.
Now, what?
Now, I have
Go
to
ahead.
ask, how did you get involved with the Rotary?
Yes, ding, ding, ding.
So
Thank you, dang
my mom is a Rotarian, actually.
Nice.
So my mom is
Runs
a
in the
past district
family.
governor in our district and in
governor,
my
too.
family. And I have 4 kids, and my daughter is in Interact, which is for middle school students. So it kind of runs in our family.
Yeah. Do you need a degree to be the grand poobah of the Rotary, or
No, you don't.
Yeah.
You
just
just
need a
have
big
to have a
heart.
big heart.
I
Yeah.
see.
And you have to be able to roll up your sleeves and get to work.
when you guys have Rotary meetings, do you stand up at the podium and you do goofy things like you cost you $1 because
Sure, yeah.
what's the craziest thing somebody had to pay $1 for?
Oh, I don't know if I can say
Wow,
that.
you're really
but
It's a
stretching.
I will
podcast.
say
It's a
my club
goofy
is the Bonita Beach
podcast.
Sunset Club. We meet at Riptide Brewery. So we're an evening club. We
I
get
see.
around, hang
Ooh.
out, have happy hour.
Obviously.
And our club is really fun. Our club is fun. We
Where's
do
Riptide?
Riptide Brewery is right on Bonita Beach Road,
Yeah.
just on the other side of 75.
Now, if
Right.
somebody wants to join the Rotary, how would they get in touch with you?
So they can definitely call me. I would love to give somebody information. Otherwise, they can show up on the 2nd or 4th Tuesday at Riptide at 6 p.m.
So you meet twice a month?
twice a
You
month.
guys are drinking twice a month. Oh, there you
least.
go.
She's going to be there. She'll be there. So the drywall giveaway is Tuesday, which is March 14th. Starts at 10 a.m.
Mhm.
Line up early, but don't block the traffic on Estero Boulevard. The residents still need to get around. Pay attention to the sheriff's deputies. You're going to get 25 sheets, right?
Up
That's
to,
right.
yeah.
Up to 25 sheets. If you don't need 25 sheets, just take what you need.
Yeah.
It's the honor system on Fort
Right,
Myers Beach right now.
Yeah.
You're not going to get screws. You're not going to get mud, but you are going to get drywall. And the contractors, please leave it for the residents, unless I guess the contractor's working for a resident, right? I mean, there's no way to know. There's
Yeah.
really no way to know.
Well,
but we
they
hope
have
it
to
stays
show
on the beach.
they
Like,
have to show
if you-
residency, right? Yeah.
here's what I heard. This one didn't come from Pastor Sean, but if you take the drywall from the Beach Baptist parking lot and you're seen driving over the bridge leaving Fort Myers Beach, you'll be shot. I don't know how that
That's
happened,
not
but
true. Wow.
Well, I will tell you, we
Are you
will do
gonna write-
everything we can.
Donated on each piece of drywall
No.
sheet? No.
what,
Okay.
what kind of crazy
I don't know,
talk is
but
that?
that's because sometimes people take things and then try to resell it. I'm just
No,
saying.
Oh, I
we're
see.
not going to do that, but we will try and do our best to make sure that Fort Myers
vet
Beach residents
everybody,
are the ones
yeah.
that get it. And
Yeah.
and I will say we do have drywall distribution scheduled for on the other side of the bridge,
Yeah.
the Iona area,
It's not
Island
like-
Park. That's
right,
the one that's
right.
coming next,
Yeah.
and then after that we'll do Pine Island and Sanibel again.
Nice.
Now, when is the next
Sanibel
the one
doesn't
on
need
the
any
other
help.
side?
Sanibel needs help. They got so much
Oh,
money on
stop.
Sanibel.
When
Come
is
on.
the one over the? Do you have a date for the
I
one?
don't have the
okay.
date for that one
All right.
scheduled.
But we will
are still
announce it.
raising funds. So
Mhm.
once we have enough funds to go ahead and make at least half the purchase, we'll do that, and then we'll continue to raise those funds.
Is there any time left to donate to you to help?
Absolutely,
How do
there
people
is.
donate if they want to? We only have a
So-
small audience, but maybe they
Sure.
want to donate.
So to make a donation, our website is rotaryfl.org. We have repurposed that membership website to be something forward
Nice.
public facing. So rotaryfl.org. You can get some information on some of the things that we've done, but also how to make a donation directly to Fort Myers Beach or any of the other distributions that we're doing.
Does
No
the fact
kidding.
that
That's
Pastor
nice.
Sean has so many tattoos disturb you at all, or is that you're
No,
fine with
not
that?
at
you
all.
need to like get over that. It's a thing for you.
Yeah, he knows that love. We have a great relationship.
He has been very, very welcoming
So
and very
great for the
kind to me
community.
over the
Yeah.
last several months.
If he ever left the community, I'd be heartbroken. He's just so
Would
great.
you cry?
I might
I would
cry.
believe that.
Yeah.
I believe that.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, and
I hope
we
this
appreciate
wasn't
it.
too painful for you.
Not at all.
Oh, good.
Not at all.
What, your dumb questions?
No,
or-
you. You. I had to warn her. I was like, all right, I'll run interference for you.
Tuesday, 10 o'clock at the Beach Baptist on Fort Myers Beach. Thank you so much for coming on. The
Thank you
Rotary
so much.
and Beach Baptist are
Thank you
giving
for all
away
you guys are
drywall
doing.
if you need it on Fort Myers Beach. Thank you to Kelsey from the Rotary. She's like the grand friggin' poobah of the Rotary. I mean, she runs the Rotary. So if you have a chance to go to volunteer at the Beach Baptist, get out there and volunteer, people. Do something. Lift some of those friggin' giant pieces of drywall up. Listen, if you need an appraisal for your house, because there's all kinds of crazy shit going on Fort Myers Beach with appraisals for this and FEMA for that and the 50% rule for here and am I under, am I over? You want to call stevesappraisalservice.com. They were on the show a couple weeks ago. They're a really cool family. They're local, a small local husband and wife team, and you're going to get an honest appraisal. It's all about honesty. It's all about trust. And we're only going to tell you about people that you can trust, people that are going to take care of you, people that are not going to screw you. And let me tell you what, the first person that called me today, when I said we needed a volunteer for next weekend, we needed 2 volunteers. We needed a volunteer for the stage, and we needed a volunteer for the generator. Steve was the first person that called us because he wanted to help. So he's going to pick up the stage for next week's.
Steve who?
That's
Or are you
Steve's
not saying
appraisal.
his- Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We had Steve and his wife on, as I was telling
Yes.
our millions and millions of watchers or
Viewers?
viewers that you want to call Steve and get your honest appraisal from him at 239.
They were a hoot.
Yeah. Down to earth.
Yeah.
And those are the kind of people you want to deal with. When you have your pool cage repaired, when you have your toilet fixed, you want to have people that you can trust, because everyone's got to have people they trust.
Toilet?
Because I spent so much time on the toilet. I just thought I want it to work. I want it to flush. I want the water to go down. And that's the end of it. Steve's appraisal service. He's not going to flush your money down the toilet, people.
Nice.
Somebody you can trust.
Nice.
239-837-8379. 239. Dear, I never lose my place. I'm a veteran radio guy. I can weave this content in with the best
Half
of
the
them.
time you're saying to me, I just lost my train of thought. So
I can always bring it back, though. I can always bring it back. Give Steve's appraisal a call. Or you can go on their website. They have a website. Who doesn't have a website? stevesappraisalservice.com. Thank you, Steve, for being part of the show. Now, there was one more. Oh, we need to talk about the signs. The freaking signs
yeah, they're
on
great.
Fort Myers Beach have really, this whole story about the signs has taken a life of its own. And
Yep.
I got a text from Dan, the mayor. Now, when you guys tune in, if you tune in on Monday night, we talk to the mayor, we're really going to focus on that council LPA combination meeting that they had the other day. I mean, there was no way I could write a story for the newsletter on Friday based on that meeting. There was when Patrick Van Ness talks, I need like a translator. Like that guy, he's at a whole different level of understanding, planning, and zoning and all that stuff.
You need a dictionary?
I need a dictionary, I need a translator. I don't
Encyclopedia.
understand anything
Remember the
he's saying.
Britannica?
And so I'm listening and now my eyes are spinning. I'm getting a headache. But when we talked to Dan on Monday, we need to talk specifically about the LPA and the town council combination meeting the other day, because that has a lot to do with the building back of Fort Myers Beach and how you can build back and who's going to get special treatment and who's not going to get special treatment. It was interesting to see.
Special treatment.
I know. It was interesting to see. I mean, Jim Adderholt made a passion speech about, we shouldn't be closed-minded to if somebody wants this, what can they give the town in return? If they want to go X number of floors higher, can they give a walkover? Can they give, I'm not quoting him, but it sounded like
the people that are tenting too, right?
Dear, that had nothing to do with the meeting. How dare you take me off? That was so important, that meeting, but it was
so
impossible.
Is that.
Well, okay. You want to talk about the tents?
I want people to be able to
live in the tents
on their property.
They're not allowed to live in the tents. They're not allowed. That's not my rule.
It's their property. I'm sure that they can figure out some kind of workaround for a little bit of time.
I don't think that code enforcement is going to go and tell them to leave, but they might. They might.
No, I don't.
You're
think
not allowed to live in a tent. That was clearly what
on the beach, though. But if you're on your property,
you're not allowed to live in a tent. I mean, if they actually followed through with what they said at the council meeting,
they're gonna
they
fix
will
it.
tell those.
They gotta do a special exception.
You're not allowed to live in a tent on your property. According to the town, you're not allowed to live in a tent. They don't want it to be a tent city, but that doesn't mean
it's not going to be a tent city.
It's such a fine line between what the rules are right now and who's going to actually go out.
Property.
You're not allowed to live in a tent.
No.
There are camping regulations on the beach. You're not allowed to camp.
Dan said they're gonna look at it. I think.
No, I don't. When did Dan say that?
I don't know. When we talked the other night, when we were talking about it, he's like, I felt like there was some.
I think that they don't want to tell people that are living on their property
Rhonda.
that they shouldn't be living in a tent. But the rules are you're not allowed to live in a tent on your property.
If you lost your place to live,
totally agree with you.
And FEMA's not bringing you a place. Nobody's
Totally
bringing you a
agree with
place. You got to work something out, at least for a little bit of time.
Okay, so give
them a chance to figure it out.
Here's Councilman Bill Veach.
Because you know what?
Looking over Tent City and complaining about the tents.
There's no housing. We know how bad the housing market is right now. There's so many people that are homeless. There's not enough places for them to go.
What does that have to do with that? Homeless has nothing to do with it.
Because if you push them off of their property, where are they going to go?
I agree with the fact that I don't believe anyone is going to kick them out of their tents. I hear them what they're saying at the council meeting, but the first person that gets kicked out of a tent is going to be a major story. That's what I think. I think they're talking smack at a council meeting about how
if you own the property, if you're working on something, like you're figuring it out,
you're not allowed to live in a tent. That's what their rules are. I'm just telling you. But I just think they're talking something at the council meetings, but they're not going to follow through on it. I can't imagine that a code enforcement officer is going to go up to a tent and tell the person that lives on that property that they have to break the tent down and they can't live there.
I would hope not.
But that's what they
opinion.
keep saying, because
I would hope not.
There are some people that don't want to see the tents that are starting to congregate.
I get it for like ever, but for right now,
I'm just saying. I'm just trying to speak the reality of the situation. You're going to chain yourself to a tent?
Mm-hmm.
We'll get the yellow army, a big yellow army chain.
I don't like it. There got to be some kind of middle ground. There's got to be
What's
some
the
kind
middle
of
ground? What's the middle ground? Let them live in the tent. Is the middle ground?
I'm sure there's people way smarter than you and way smarter than me.
Wait, why do I always have to be the dumb one first?
That these poor folks are in a pickle.
So maybe the person living in the tent needs to go to the town council and ask for a special exception. I would like to live in a tent for 6 months while I rebuild my house.
There's people getting special exemptions, whatever that is. Exceptions.
What do you mean? Is that a walkover? By the way, there's a 30-day time limit by the time that the walkover was approved until the deadline for the Audubon to file a lawsuit against the town. And I did talk to Brad Cornell at the Audubon
He's a
Society,
nice guy.
and he said when or if a lawsuit is filed against the town, he'll send out a press release. So
All right.
it's an unknown right now as to whether or not the Audubon Society will file a lawsuit against the town, which has no money to begin with. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, everybody. Wow. She was a little bit on the loopy side. Go ahead, dear. Relax. We will be at Wahoo Willie's tomorrow. We have another Survivor story that you're going to want to tune in for, or you can come down to Wahoo Willie's, and you will be let in first at 10:30. They open at 10:30 just for our people, our followers, and we thank you guys so much for following us, for contributing to the show, for watching, wasting your time watching us, and putting up with my wife's crap. And I want to tell you about Power Block Builders before we go. Power Block Builders, hurricane impact windows, elevated concrete columns, tile throughout. They built over 500 to 600 structural shells for tract homes, and they're also a custom home builder in Cape Coral. Power Block Builders, a big supporter of the show. You saw them. They were guests on the show. We love the builders. We want you guys to call a builder to build a house that's going to be rock solid forever, so you never have to go through this shit again. You never have to deal with FEMA, because FEMA is the devil. Yes, they are. You're never going to get anything from FEMA. And they're going to tell you they gave you a lot of shit. Give our friends at Power Block Builders a call, or go online, check them out. PowerBlockBuilders.com, their website can be clicked on when you go to our website. Thank you to Power Block Builders, Jorge Barrera. Thank you to our guest today. We'll be at Hibiscus tomorrow at 8 o'clock for the walk around. And then at Wahoo Willie's, I'll be there at like 9. Oh, wait, I got Mojo's. I'll be at Mojo's tomorrow. I'm going to give away some free t-shirts tomorrow at Mojo's. Mojo's grand opening tomorrow. It's just crazy on the beach. And that 11 o'clock at Wahoo Willie's. She's doing a bike ride on Sunday. I'll let her talk about that tomorrow. Promote myself more than I promote her. Thank you all for tuning in. Say it with me, Rhonda. Bye-bye.